No worries. If you're listening to this, I'm not offended anymore. I understand, because I'm doing it to people right now unintentionally. I understand that it's almost like we build up this wall and it gets higher and higher as every day goes by, where it's like, I don't know if I could break that wall down.
I mean, I'm sure there's situations where you were maybe disrespectful or unkind unintentionally, or you offended someone or whatever. I think if you never were to contemplate, like, oh no, it's totally about them, it has nothing to do with me, I think that's probably arrogant.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of Next Level University, where we teach you how to level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode. It was episode number 1275. So many relationships fail because of this. Today, for episode number 1276, sometimes people are running from themselves, not you. Would you believe somebody gave me $1,000 and then didn't talk to me for maybe a year? That's what gave me the inspiration of doing this episode. So I don't know if it was a year ago. It was a while ago. I had a call with a potential client, and this person said, yeah, I want to start a podcast. I'm a successful business owner. Now I know it's time for me to get my podcast out into the world. And I just learned a lot about this person. Very awesome human being. We got along really, really well. I was excited to work with them. And we were just talking about their business. And, this person said, yeah, I only coach high ticket. So I have 10 clients who pay me $10,000 a month. And I was like, oh, okay, nice. $100,000 a month. Pretty cool. Not bad. Okay. And we were getting ready to do this. This person bought all the equipment. We had 3 or 4 calls. We were ready to get this thing rolling. And then one day this person just stopped answering me completely. And I messaged them and said, hey, ready to get rolling whenever you are. Just let me know. Here's the link to book the next call. Let's do this. Nothing. Left me on red. And I was like, all right, maybe they're traveling. There's probably something going on. No worries. Reach out a couple more times. Nothing. So months and months go by and I'm like, this person hates me. They're liking my content though. Interesting. Like, why are they liking my Instagram stuff if they're not, did they not see it? Did they change their number? Like, what the hell is going on here? They wished me a Merry Christmas. I was like, cool, we're back. Messaged them back, nothing. Ghosted again. Interesting. So this person ends up reaching out to me.
It's like middle school all over again.
It's like middle school. Story of my life. Story of my life. So this person ends up reaching out to me a couple of weeks ago. And they messaged me and said, hey, Kev, I'm so sorry. I've been ghosting you. My apologies. I'm ready to get this thing going. When can we hop on the phone? Or when can we hop on Zoom? And I sent him my link and I was like, hey, welcome back. I'm super excited to jam. Let's do it. Here's my link. So we end up booking a call and we jump on the call. And the first thing this person said was, hey, I just wanted to apologize for the fact that I kind of have been ghosting you. He made a joke. He's like, this is what I used to hear all the time. It's not you, it's me. He's like, but really though, in this case, it's not you, Kev. It's me. Like every time I think about the podcast, I get overwhelmed. Every time I think about it, I feel stuck. I don't really know what to do. I'm like in this cycle of when I think about it, I get excited, but then I get scared. And I said, first of all, thank you so much thank you for the apology. Like, you're good. I'm used to it at this point. That's what I said. I said, I'm kind of used to this. This has happened to me. You'd be surprised how many people have given me money and just like disappeared. I don't know why, but now I'm starting to understand. And I said, I appreciate the bravery. I appreciate the vulnerability. I appreciate the courage. And now I know that it wasn't me. It wasn't that this person was running away from me. They were running away from what I represented, really. And that was them getting outside of their comfort zones. It was them doing something that they might not believe that they can do. It was them facing a fear. It was them facing an insecurity. So that really is the goal of this episode, is for you to understand that as you grow, as you evolve, as you change, as you become, I don't want to say become more, but as you become more, as you get closer to your goals, and if people are treating you differently, this is one of the reasons why. It's not because you did anything wrong. It's because oftentimes you are a mirror to an insecurity, a fear, something that somebody knows they should be doing. And again, this person gave me $1,000. I have $1,000 of their money. It ran into our business and then they just ran away. That's obviously a really good example of how this works. The discomfort that this person was facing was greater than the $1,000. They weren't even thinking about the money. They were thinking about, you know what? I'm just not super comfortable. I'm not ready. I have seen this time and time again. I know Alan has too. So my hope with this episode is it'll allow you not to take things as personally if you're getting ghosted by people, because the more we've grown, unfortunately, the more we've been ghosted by people.
Well, it's interesting too, because this has happened many times, as Kevin mentioned with me. It's happened many other times with him that he's not referring to here, but
yeah,
sometimes people are running from themselves, not you. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. When the student is ready, the student will seek the teacher. That's probably a better way to put that. Mm-hmm. So what this person is actually running from is uncertainty. And everyone right now, think about when they were procrastinating something. Maybe you procrastinated doing the taxes. Maybe you procrastinated opening the mail. Maybe you procrastinated sending an email back to a mentor who messaged you. That's me. Maybe you procrastinated sending a text message to a friend apologizing about something. Whatever it is, it's inside the other person that is creating the procrastination. I remember one time I had a coach, and she's a very, very successful business owner, multimillionaire, very hard worker, has grinded for years, in this case, actually decades. And I remember she said, Alan, I procrastinate all the time. And I was like, what do you mean? I've seen your calendar. Like, you're one of the hardest working people I've ever met. She's like, yeah, but I procrastinate on the things I don't want to do. Those things I want to do. And so what I've come to understand coaching so many people at this stage, that was years and years and years ago, so I didn't understand this back then. Back then, when she said that, I was like, no, you're not. I know some people who really procrastinate. You grind. You're not a procrastinator. What are you talking about? She's like, no. I am a procrastinator on the things I really, really should do but don't want to do. It's like, oh, okay, so that's the new frame. Two things. If you're out there, number one, if someone is avoiding you, it might not have to do with you. It might have to do with you being a mirror, or them avoiding themselves, or a deep fear of uncertainty in them. Number two, if you're procrastinating on something, you're not alone. Every single person I've ever coached, every person I've ever been coached by or mentored by procrastinates. And it's usually in an area of uncertainty. It's usually an area where there's a deep insecurity or fear. And so you're not alone if you're procrastinating. But to get back to the original point, sometimes people are running from themselves, not from you. I have a story that I think will land pretty powerfully on this. We had a listener of this show. We gave a speech. She started listening to the show. She came to listen. Then she joined group coaching. At the end of group coaching, I said, hey, you can have a session with myself or with Kevin and choose who you think is best for you, who you feel most aligned with. I won't be offended. In this group, for whatever reason, most people did choose me.
I was offended. No, I wasn't.
You were offended. No, and so she chose me. We get on the phone, and the call was a lot of big, heavy mirrors. She was in a relationship that was toxic, that she knew was toxic, but kind of was telling herself a story wasn't. And on the call, essentially, I kind of broke it down to where, okay, these are your goals. This is who you need to grow into in order to achieve those from my perspective. And there's no way that that's going to work when you're constantly being sabotaged by someone who wants to keep you small. And so you're in a toxic relationship. I've seen it before. I've been in a toxic relationship before. And I know now that I could never have gotten to where I am now without getting out of that. So from my perspective, that's not going to work. This isn't going to work. So she gets off the call. I thought we were in great terms. I was like, oh, that was awesome. Perfect. Great coaching call. I helped her so much. I'm so grateful. I feel good. Ghosted me for 9 months. Didn't talk to me, didn't answer my anything. All of a sudden, Kevin and I are on the mic. And we see an email come through because we're masterminding. And it's from this person, and they signed up for group 6. I think it was group 6 or 7. I forget which. And so fast forward. She does group 6, and it was like, oh, okay. We do have a promo code, so you should have reached out. But she just signed up cold, paid the money, done. Which was like, okay, cool, awesome. Crushes it in group coaching to a whole nother level than the first group. So she's in group 1, ghosts me so from group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, group 5. So that's 5 times 3 months. So that's 15 months. So she ghosted us for 15 months. In this case, holy crap. Okay, then she signs up for group 6, crushes it in group 6, does so well in group 6 that there was actually an opportunity for an assistant coach for group 7. She comes on the team. Now she's the assistant coach for group 7, 8, and 9. And her name's Jessie. So I'm sure that those of you who know the team well know it's Jessie. And Jessie was not avoiding Kevin and I. Jessie broke up with her partner all those months ago, moved across the country because she lived on the western side of Canada and moved to the eastern side of Canada. And now she's on the team. Now she's the assistant group for group coaching. And we thought that whole time that Jessie, I thought in particular, did I say something wrong? Did I offend her? I thought that was helpful. I feel so bad. Like, I hope we're good. Literally, I remember having actual thoughts of this because I'm a huge fan of Jessie. And it had nothing to do with me. The whole time, it had nothing to do with me. Mm. It had to do with the fact that she wasn't ready yet. She needed that time to, what we call the aversion phase, to get ready and gear up for group 6. So maybe she came into group 1. This is probably what happened in hindsight. Came into group 1, got a lot of mirrors, came onto that coaching call with me, got even more mirrors, got really overwhelmed, and then needed some time to make some changes. And then as soon as she started making those changes, eventually she was ready for that next level university, that next level. Group 6 is another level because obviously we improved the program a lot in 6 groups. And then she was even ready beyond that to the next level, which is to be on the team. And so it's just crazy how at one point Kevin and I were like, where did Jessie go? To holy crap, Jessie's on the team now and flourishing at a whole nother level. And so I wanted to share that story because sometimes people are running from themselves, not from you. I think she was running unconsciously from her own greatness. I think she was fearful and afraid of success. And she wouldn't mind me sharing that. I think she has a fear of success. I know that I do as well. And so the question I would ask our listeners is, what might you be running from? What are you procrastinating? What's the fear underneath it? What are you so uncertain about that you're avoiding it? Because what if that very thing, person, place, thing, or idea, maybe it's Kevin, maybe it's me, maybe it's another mentor, maybe it's a coach, maybe it's doing group coaching, maybe it's coming to the next level live, maybe it's buying that course that you've been thinking about. I had a course I was thinking about for so long, and it's like, literally, I heard about that course, Kev, over a year ago. Probably a year and a half ago. I didn't buy it until now. Yeah. It was a month ago I bought it. But that's what it is. We're all kind of avoiding uncertainty, and sometimes you just got to bite the bullet and give it a shot.
And I just wanted to share a little bit about my experience of Next Level Live in 2022. I've been to a lot of live events before, and there's nothing quite like this group of people in this community that these guys have cultivated. The intimate feeling that you get in the group. Yes, there's a lot of people, but there's not so many people that it's overwhelming. I actually attended this event completely by myself last year, but I also felt right at home when I got into the room. If you've been following these guys on the podcast and you do their monthly meetups and things like that, I have to say there is nothing quite like actually getting in the room and being surrounded by the energy that these guys bring to the table. So if you are on the fence about attending Next Level Live 2023, I highly encourage you to do so. You are going to get so much out of the experience, and you are going to be so grateful that you did.
This is the other interesting thing too. It's really, right now, I'm actually doing this to a couple people, and now that I'm thinking about it unintentionally. I went on a podcast pre-call a while ago. Great guy. Great. Like, what a great human. We hit it off. We're buddy. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to send you an email, and it's just a quick thing you got to fill out, and then you'll be on the show. And I was like, yeah, no worries. It wasn't quick at all. It was like 10 in-depth questions that I had to fill out. And I was like, I'll get to this next week. I don't have time to do this right now. I don't have an hour to fill out these 10 questions. A week goes by. Another week goes by. Another week goes by. It's been like 4 months at this point. And I'm like, I'm ashamed. I don't want to reach out and be like, hey, my bad. This slipped to the bottom of my emails. I apologize, because I know I'm going to look bad. I think that's a fear of it. It's one of those things where I had a text message from a buddy recently, and I was like, oh no, I forgot to respond to that. That was like 3 weeks ago. And it was a heartfelt message too. And I just messaged back and said, hey, my bad. I am so sorry. I know this sucks. My apologies. And then he ghosted me for like a week, and he's like, dude, I haven't figured out how to use the unsend or the unread feature yet on Apple. It's a whole thing. So just know we're all guilty of this to some degree, really. And the more attached you are, in a way, to what somebody wants, the harder it is, I think, for them to come back. I have so many people who have messaged me about podcasting and now they just ghost me.
Yeah.
They ghost me. And again, it is what it is. No worries. No worries. If you're listening to this, I'm not offended anymore. I understand. Because I'm doing it to people right now unintentionally. I understand that it's almost like we build up this wall and it gets higher and higher as every day goes by, where it's like, I don't know if I could break that wall down. So I understand at a very deep level, and I think we've all done this in some way, shape, or form. And sometimes when you jump over the wall, it's too late and things are weird. You can break rapport that way. We're blessed because we understand now the aversion phase and we've been through it so many times. But if you haven't experienced it, I can understand number one, why you take it personally. Number two, why it hurts. And number three, why you would think that maybe there's quote unquote something wrong with you. I can understand it at a very deep level now.
The last thing I would share is I think that it's probably healthy to contemplate, at least to some extent, why someone is quote unquote ghosting you or avoiding you. Because what if, I'm sure there's situations where you were maybe disrespectful or unkind unintentionally, or you offended someone or whatever. I think if you never were to contemplate, like, oh no, it's totally about them, it has nothing to do with me, I think that's probably arrogant and inaccurate in some cases. But if you're consistently finding this happening with more than just one person, and particularly when they do eventually come back, there's nothing that was really wrong, maybe it's good to realize, you know what, I don't need to ruminate all the time about whether or not someone is getting back to me or whatever, because most likely it has to do with something inside of them. And I think we all are doing this. I certainly avoid projects that are challenging. I know I avoided getting a therapist for a time. I know that I had to jumpstart my car for a week and a half. I literally had Emilia driving me to the gym because I left my headlights on and my battery died. And I just avoided it for a week and a half, honestly. And I told myself, I don't have time. No, I don't. I'm not making the time. It's not important enough yet. Or I don't know how to jumpstart a damn car. No, I do. But I'm on YouTube and I'm looking at it. It's a whole thing. So the point is that anytime you feel uncertainty or shame, you're going to avoid it. Very last thing, I promise. If there's something you have shame around, it increases the avoidance drastically. And this is why when I coach people, I'm usually trying to figure out what's the biggest detriment to their self-esteem. It's usually them avoiding something they have deep shame around. So I'll give you one tiny example that I know our listeners will resonate with. If you have a ton of shame around your body image, most likely you have a really toxic or challenging relationship with food and fitness. And usually you have to try to heal the shame first, and then someone can start keeping the promises in that arena, and then they end up building self-esteem and momentum, and then you see every other area of their life just light up. And so that's really what I'm trying to help people with, and obviously we talk about that on the podcast as well. But if there's shame, there's massive uncertainty, and usually a trauma response of avoidance. Or when you poke that button, it's like you get attacked or you fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. So just something to be aware of.
Love it. Next Level Nation, as you know, April 1st, 2023, live in Worcester, Mass. We are having an event, Next Level Live 2023. We are super excited because, again, we are a global podcast and a global business. And anytime we get the opportunity to meet our amazing community in person, it's a little weird because I feel like I've talked to so many of our amazing family members, but when you get to hug somebody and say, hey, thanks for coming, it's just a different energy. And again, our goal is to help you shift your identity. I don't want you to be just inspired or just motivated or just feeling good. I want you to say, you know what? This event shifted my identity. It changed the way I look at myself. It changed the way I think about myself. That will be a success if we can do that for you. Link is in the show notes for everything you need to know.
So if you've been listening to us for a really long time, you really are more than ready, in our opinion, for group coaching. It is designed specifically for listeners of this show to go one layer deeper, to get to one level higher in their life. And so maybe you've been avoiding it. Maybe you've been scared. Maybe you've felt intimidated. You've probably heard a lot about group coaching and different group coaching members and how a lot of the group coaching members end up on the team or clients or whatever. Group coaching has come a long way. you are more than ready. I don't think you're going to regret it giving it a shot. So if you've been avoiding it for a long time, maybe now's the time. Group 10, we're taking 10 people. It starts on April 4th. Everything on the landing page is already set up. You can check that out, nextleveluniverse.com. The link will be in the show notes. And if you have any questions, reach out to Kevin or myself, Alan at nextleveluniverse.com, Kevin at nextleveluniverse.com. You can email us. And we also have a promo code for only listeners of this show. So if you are interested, please reach out first so that you can get the promo code so that you don't end up paying full price when you are a listener of this show. So like Jessie had done. Jessie just hammered it cold, and we appreciate it. That's awesome. And she was just ready to do it. But we would like you to reach out to us, get the promo code, become a part of Group 10. It's going to be the best group we've ever done because we've done this 9 other times. So I'm excited.
Yes, likewise. Next Level Nation tomorrow for episode number 1277. 2 of the most powerful words you can say to yourself. This is going to be a hyper-conscious throwback episode. I'm very excited. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we do not have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Please reach out.